Have you ever felt small? You ever felt insignificant? You know, for some people it's just standing in a crowd, just realizing that there are thousands of faces around you that you don't know. You start to feel little. Ever stood next to an ocean with its pounding waves and the horizon just disappearing? You can feel small. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to climb up onto a mountain range and all you can see for as far as you can see is other mountain peaks. How about lying on your back under a night sky looking up at the stars? When we realize what is out there in the heavens, we feel pretty insignificant. You know, when we recognize that our earth, that to us is so big, next to our sun is actually quite small, really like a pea next to a bowling ball. But if you take our sun and recognize that it actually as a star is really small compared to a star like Arcturus, but even Arcturus becomes a pea in size of one of the giants named Betelgeuse. See, Betelgeuse is one of these enormous, mind-blowing sized stars, but yet that's small compared to the super red giants that are out there just in our own Milky Way galaxy. But what do you do with the size of that when our Milky Way galaxy is one of what they estimate is hundreds of billions of galaxies in this universe? Immeasurable. And we become smaller than a pinhead in the scope of all of this. And then you talk about galactic distances and they have to measure it in light years. You could zip around this Earth 7 times in 1 second at the speed of light. But yet if you wanted to venture from one side of our known universe to the other, it would take you about 20 billion years at that same speed. Sometimes I feel insignificant when I think of that. The concept is beyond our comprehension, and yet in that, God says He knows you. You know, the Christmas story is not about being insignificant. If anything, it's about being significant. That God, who knew you and cared about you in the midst of all this grandeur, sent His Son. Not wants you to be lost in the greatness of His creation. He wants you to be known in the midst of His creation, as the object of His affection, as the greatest object of His care and purpose. And so if you ever feel small when you're lying outside looking at the stars or standing next to the ocean or on a mountaintop, remember that God who formed all of it also created you. And even when we've gone against His purposes, He says, I have purpose for you and I will restore you if you'll return to me. May you know His creative power in your own life and the hope of restored relationship.